Physical Science 28.3 Climate. Climate is determined by a location's latitude, altitude, and average temperature and precipitation. So climate is determined by all of those things, not one of those things. What factors determine climate? What is a climate system, and what are the dominant climate zones across the U.S.?
If you're like me, you know what your perfect day looks like, weather-wise. Sunny, rainy, snowy, whatever. Personally, I love it when it's cool and cloudy, like just cold enough to wear a sweater. You probably know that weather has something to do with how hot or cold it is outside. But really, there's a lot more to it than just temperature. So grab your sunglasses, your rain boots, and your most colorful scarf, because today, we're talking weather. Let's start with a big and pretty basic question. What exactly is weather? Well, weather is the condition of the air, or the atmosphere, on our planet. But the thing is, even though there's only one atmosphere on Earth, the weather isn't the same all over the world. There are many different factors that can change the atmosphere in a certain area.
Climate is the long-term average of weather conditions, winds, temperature, precipitation, moisture, and other aspects of weather. Factors that affect climate. This Earth system can be visualized as 5 spheres that interact to create the environments in which we live. So here we have the atmosphere, which includes space, cryosphere, lithosphere, hydrosphere, and the biosphere. The atmosphere includes the air around us. The biosphere is everything organic, bio meaning life. Hydro is water, so the hydrosphere is liquid water. Cryo is frozen, so cryosphere is a frozen water in snow, ice, and glaciers. And of course, the lithosphere is Earth's outermost layer, as learned in Chapter 25. Latitude is the primary factor that influences climate at a given location. The intensity of solar radiation received on Earth is greatest at the equator and decreases toward the poles. Other factors include prevailing winds, proximity to oceans, and mountains.
And together they determine what the weather is like from one minute and from one place to the next. These factors include temperature, humidity, wind speed and direction, and lots of other things. But when you're talking about the overall weather patterns from a certain region of the world, you're talking about the area's climate. Weather is the minute-by-minute changes in the atmosphere. Climate is what the weather is like over a long period of time in a specific area. Now, the weather is constantly changing all the time, every day. Think of the weather as being like that one friend of yours who could never make up their mind about what movie they want to see or what restaurant they want to go to. Just because it's beautiful and sunny outside when you wake up, that doesn't mean you won't need an umbrella before the day's over. And rain is just one of the things that weather can do. Rain, of course, is just a form of precipitation, or water that falls from the sky. It happens when droplets of water in the clouds, or sometimes ice crystals, get heavy enough and fall to the ground. If they're crystals, the warm air near the ground will melt them as they fall, forming liquid raindrops. But do you want to build a snowman? Another common form of precipitation is snow. Snow is just ice crystals that don't melt into liquid water as they fall. Another snow-like form of precipitation is sleet. It's what happens when ice crystals fall toward the ground, partly melt, and then refreeze again.
The long-term average temperature of an area really depends on the latitude of that area. The intensity of solar radiation depends on the angle with which the sun's rays will strike the Earth. Average summer temperatures do not decrease as much with latitude as average winter temperatures do. So here's a really good visual. The tropics receive the greatest amount of solar radiation because the sun's rays are perpendicular to Earth's surface most of the year. The poles receive the least amount of solar radiation, as you can see here, North Pole, South Pole, and that's because the Earth is tilted on its axis. A climate with strong ocean influence is called a maritime climate. Areas with little direct ocean influence with steep temperature gradients are called continental climates. Wind and air pressure patterns affect average precipitation. And mountains act as wind barriers, blocking weather systems and alternating patterns of precipitation. I know most of you have either been outside at a ball game or you've been waiting for a bus. At some point, you've been outside. And if you're teeny tinier than the people around you, say a parent, right? My daughter's 5 foot tall. My husband is 5'9". Her grandpa is 6'5". Who do you think she hides behind? Somebody bigger than her when it's really windy outside. Why? Because they're the mountain. They're the wind barrier. So when the wind blows perpendicular to one side of the mountain range, a lee rain shadow forms on the opposite side. And here you can see the leeward side. A sea breeze blows from water toward the land in the afternoon when the land is warmer than the water. That causes warm air to rise over the land, creating low pressure that allows cool, dense air to blow from the sea toward land. The reverse is called a land breeze, and that happens at night.
I'm sure you're familiar with thunderstorms. A thunderstorm can happen when strong winds make drops of water and pieces of ice collide and break apart inside a storm. This causes electrical energy to build up, which creates a little something called lightning. But all of this rain and snow and sleet I've been talking about, that's all just weather. And while weather can change in a few hours, a region's climate takes hundreds, thousands, even millions of years to change. So how can we better understand the difference between weather and climate? How about we send Cartoon Sabrina on a little imaginary trip for a month? Okay, here she is at her destination, Yuma, Arizona. Let's pretend it's the 5th of the month. On this particular day where Cartoon Sabrina is, it's warm but very cloudy and the light rain has been falling on her, sorry me, all day. Since clouds and rain are what the atmosphere has to offer on this particular spot at this moment, and they can go away at any minute, those conditions are, the weather. Now let's fast forward to the 10th of the month. Hello, sun. Looks like Tiny Me won't be needing an umbrella today. How about the 15th? More sun. The 20th? Still sunny. The 25th? You guessed it. Sunny with a chance of, sunny. And finally, on the 30th, the sun's still shining. Little Sabrina, I hope you packed your sunscreen. So what does this quick time lapse of a month in Yuma tell us? It tells us that Yuma, Arizona is a pretty sunny place. In fact, on most days, it's one of the sunniest cities on the whole planet. So the city's weather patterns existed before Minnie arrived and will continue after she leaves. In that case, you could say that Yuma has a sunny climate, even if its weather on a certain given day happens to be rainy. Now you know that weather is much more than just temperature. It's the condition of our planet's atmosphere, and it's constantly changing. You also know that weather and climate are not the same thing. But I saved the extreme stuff for last. The severe weather stuff, that is. You'll have to tune in next time to learn more about tornadoes, hurricanes, and blizzards.
Climate classification has 3 major divisions: cold or boreal, arid and semi-arid, and warm climates with adequate precipitation. The last includes temperature, subtropical, and tropical climates, as described here. And you also have this picture in your book.